everybody, Creative Katie here. Welcome to an art journal tutorial. Here's the sneak peek, and here is the inspiration, my hydrangeas that are blooming right now. I got the shape of the stencils that I use, the color, and even the iridescent that shows up in these hydrangeas. I try to recapture in this art journal page. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So this mandala is called Fancy Mandala, and it's a new one by Sparks Girl Mixed Media. And I am using this stencil. I've loved this stencil and have wanted to use this 12-inch one for a long time now, so I'm really thrilled that I managed to find the inspiration to use it. So what I'm using here is some white pearl modeling paste, and that's from the Crafters Workshop, and both the stencil and the product will be linked below. There is a TCW Shopify link and discount code in the description box. Now, this white pearl modeling paste is to die for. It has this pearlescence, this iridescence that is spectacular. And I am putting it on the stencil, through the stencil, as well as on this page. And I'm working in my recipe binder. Now it's really important with the modeling paste that you clean your stencils afterwards. Now once it's dry, can you see that shine and shimmer, that pearlescence? I love it. So TCW carries Ken Oliver's Color Bursts, and they come in trio packs, and I've not played with them. I like the mediums to stay permanent, and this is a water-soluble one, but these are truly magical powers. And I picked orchid, fuchsia, and turquoise, and I'm sprinkling that on. And I'll admit, I tried these out one other time, so this is pretty much the first time I'm doing it. But I was wondering how it was going to work with the white pearl modeling paste, and stay tuned. It was an experiment well worth having. You do not need much of these powders to go on, and there is a certain unpredictability. And then you spray them, and you get it to flow, and the magic starts to happen. It blends, it flows. You sop up, you add a little more, you take a little bit less, and you just kind of have to go with it. And I wish I kind of kept that on and dried it. And I definitely am going to have to try that again where I leave it on and dry it without mopping it up, just to get a little bit brighter colors. Because if you watch my channel, you know that I typically go for the bolder, brighter colors. But again, I'm trying to get that hydrangea, those hydrangea colors. And you can see on the bottom part, it really is starting to resemble that. And when you are using certain mediums, especially water-soluble ones, you need to play. You add, you subtract, you build up. Now I'm using the baby wipe and I'm getting rid, I want it to be mostly white at the top. And because it's water soluble, you can do that. And the white purling modeling paste is kind of acting like a bit of a resist. You can come in and add to certain places that you want a little more mixing, a little more blending. I've seen people take and actually just activate the color bursts in a dish and then paint in the areas. And I think I'll be doing that. So there's lots of experimentation in my future. And you can see that gets everywhere. My hands were stained, but that's how you know you've had a good day in the studio, right? I even managed to rip a little bit of the bottom page there. You can see the iridescence shine through that white pearl modeling paste combined with these color bursts to die for. Please take time to go and follow me on Instagram at Creative Katie. You'll often see what I'm up to, works in progress. So I wanted to take back some of this color, and because the white pearl modeling paste does act as a bit of a resist, I'm able to lift some of the color. I'm trying to get more contrast. With these pastel colors, I'm not achieving the contrast between the colors as I would like. Now I have this Dragonfly Stamp. Nothing special about this one. I will see if I can find something in Amazon that's similar size and shape. It's kind of a wonky, stylized dragonfly. And I've been trying to use things in my stash. You know, these stamps, they're not that big, so they don't make for focal points per se, but I'm trying to reimagine it. So I stamp them out with archival ink, then I cut them out with a little bit of a white border, and I picked the sentiment, and then I thought I'm going to add some detailing with white on here. Started out with the dots, needed a little more contrast, so moved to a solid line. Now, because the color bursts are water activated, they are going to bleed through and colorize this white. So the white will not stay bright white. That isn't necessarily a negative, it's just the reality of working with water reactive paints, colors. And you just have to know what qualities you're dealing with and work with them. I wasn't getting the effect I liked, so I wiped that off and I decided, okay, I'm going to just glue down the sentiment, choose joy. And after playing around with the dragonflies, how many dragonflies do I want? I'm putting them on. Liking the black and white, that's giving a little bit more contrast to here. Now I'm using gel medium and I'm being careful not to put it on anywhere where the color bursts are. So I'm painting it on the back of the dragonfly instead of on the art journal page, which I would be doing if that was acrylic paint and therefore permanent. So I'm being very careful not to reactivate, smudge the color. And that's what I mean with you know what your mediums or know what your color's doing, what everything, the qualities are, and work with it. Adjust what you do and how you do things. So the rest of these, they'll just go into my stash. I'm sure you'll see them on some other project. I grabbed my Sakura Glaze black pen and I thought, okay, I'm just going to give this a black border and we're going to call this done. Now the Sakura Glaze is black. It's permanent when it's dry. It's dimensional and glossy. So it works really well on this page that has that little bit of iridescence. And there I kind of, I ripped it. So and I had no problem using the Secure Glaze going over top of the dried modeling paste. Now I've got some black paint that I've thinned and I'm using my fan brush and I'm just going to splatter, get a little bit more of that black into the background. Again, I'm still thinking I'm missing that contrast. I like what it is, but I am thinking something is missing. Loving the iridescent. I'm thinking right now that I'm done. I think I go have a coffee and then I come back and I grab my Secura Glaze again and I decide I'm going to do some line work. And instantly when I start doing this, I like it. I like what's happening. I like the contrast. I'm making it a little bit bolder. It's giving, it's doing what I think I need on this page. Now, the problem with line work is that you never know where you're going to start or end. Where does it end? Because there's lots of details on this mandala stencil, this fancy mandala stencil. But I thought, just keep going. Trust your instincts, just go. So I pick out one element and I outline it. And then I pick out another element and I try it. If you don't try things, don't experiment, you don't learn things. But the more outlining I do, the more I like it. And I think making some of the lines bolder, some of them thinner, I think that helped too. This video is pretty much, I think it's sped up double time for most of it. So this was a fairly quick, easy page. And I just keep going. Pretty much all the elements of this fancy mandala stencil gets outlined. Not only does that give me the contrast that I was missing and looking for, but it also highlights the mandala. It gives weight to the page. And yes, it would have been easier to do the outlining before I glued down all the elements. But sometimes you don't know you're going to do something until afterwards. You can still make it work. So where do you get your inspiration from? Oh, that when the light when you that iridescence, that pearlescence there. Again, I just love that. And I wish it would do justice, the video would do justice to it. Here's close-ups of the finished page. Again, it was very difficult to photograph them and get them true to color. This one's probably the closest. Love the colors, love the iridescence, the watercolor look, love the contrast. It was a bit of a journey, but well worth travel. Bye. Thanks for watching.